For years, Russia believed it had discovered a shortcut into the exclusive world of semiconductor manufacturing. The idea sounded simple enough at the time. Instead of spending decades building a modern chip industry from scratch, the country would buy proven Western equipment, move it into Russia, and rapidly create a domestic semiconductor base capable of supporting military systems, banking infrastructure, telecommunications, and eventually advanced computing. At the center of that vision stood the Zelenograd-based microelectronics company Angstrem and its ambitious subsidiary, Angstrem-T. The project was supposed to symbolize Russia's technological revival. It was supposed to prove the country could rebuild a strategic semiconductor industry using a mix of state financing and imported expertise. The heart of the initiative revolved around the purchase of large amounts of second-hand semiconductor manufacturing equipment from AMD. The machinery reportedly came from AMD's older fabrication facilities in Dresden, Germany. On paper, it looked like a clever shortcut. In reality, it slowly evolved into one of the most expensive industrial disasters in modern Russian electronics history. And honestly, this is where the story starts getting kind of surreal. The consequences are still unfolding in 2026. Russian authorities are now trying to rescue the original Angstrom enterprise itself after debts linked to the failed Angstrem-T project pushed the strategic defense supplier dangerously close to collapse. In February 2026, an arbitration court approved an external management plan designed to prevent bankruptcy and preserve production tied to Russia's defense industrial complex. As the story moves deeper into Russia's semiconductor ambitions, it becomes clear this was never just about factories or machines. The roots of the crisis go back to the mid-2000s, when the Kremlin became increasingly worried about dependence on imported electronics. At that time, Russia still retained remnants of the old Soviet microelectronics sector centered around Zelenograd, sometimes called the Soviet Silicon Valley. Companies like Angstrom continued manufacturing chips for military and industrial use, but Russia had already fallen far behind global leaders such as Intel, TSMC, and Samsung Electronics. The gap was widening fast. Russian officials feared reliance on foreign semiconductors could become a strategic vulnerability, especially for defense systems and critical infrastructure. That concern generated political momentum for a flagship domestic semiconductor project. Suddenly, semiconductor independence became tied to national security. In 2005, Angstrem-T was established with the goal of building a modern semiconductor fabrication plant capable of producing chips at 130 nanometers and eventually 90 and 65 nanometers. Those technologies were no longer cutting-edge globally, but they still mattered for military electronics, automotive systems, industrial controllers, smart cards, and telecom equipment. The Russian state backed the project heavily. In 2008, the State Development Bank VEB issued an €815 million loan to Angstrem-T. Over time, with penalties and accumulated interest, the total obligation eventually climbed to roughly €1.3 billion. And this is where the AMD connection becomes central to the story. Around the same period, AMD was upgrading production lines in Dresden from older 130-nanometer technology to more advanced manufacturing nodes. For Russia, it looked like the perfect opportunity. Instead of building an entirely new fabrication ecosystem from the ground up, Angstrem-T could buy used but functional Western equipment and jump directly into relatively advanced semiconductor production. The construction of the new Russian facilities involved the German engineering contractor M+W Zander, later rebranded as Excite. On paper, the strategy looked logical. Semiconductor manufacturing equipment costs billions of dollars, even when it is second-hand. Purchasing proven Western tools appeared to offer a shortcut worth taking. But semiconductor fabs are not normal factories. And this part often gets overlooked in headlines. Buying the machines is only one piece of an enormously complicated puzzle. Modern semiconductor manufacturing depends on an ecosystem that includes process engineering, precision calibration, chemical supply chains, software systems, maintenance contracts, spare parts, highly trained engineers, continuous vendor support, and the flawless integration of hundreds of separate tools. Missing even one of those layers can derail an entire project. This reality became painfully obvious as the project moved forward. Delays in equipment delivery and installation became some of the most damaging problems facing Angstrem-T. Later reports suggested that critical photolithography equipment connected to the AMD purchase was delayed for years before finally reaching Russia. For a semiconductor project operating almost entirely on borrowed money, those delays were devastating. Semiconductor fabs are extraordinarily capital-intensive. Even an unfinished factory burns through huge amounts of money every single month through loan interest, clean room maintenance, utilities, infrastructure costs, salaries, and technical upkeep. It is kind of brutal when you think about it. Every year of delay made the technology more obsolete before it even entered serious production. When the project was first conceived, 130 nanometer manufacturing still had meaningful commercial value. By the time real production efforts accelerated, the global semiconductor industry had already moved far beyond it. Meanwhile, the debt burden kept growing. Quietly at first, then very quickly. As Altitude Addicts has pointed out in previous discussions about strategic industries, advanced manufacturing is not just about buying hardware. The technological gap surrounding Angstrem-T became increasingly obvious as the project struggled to reach the manufacturing targets originally promised. Reports that emerged after the bankruptcy suggested Angstrem-T may have only achieved something close to 250 nanometer production capability, rather than the intended 130 nanometer node. If true, the gap was catastrophic. A modern semiconductor fab cannot simply be switched on like a steel mill or automobile plant. Achieving a target process node requires mastery over contamination control, photolithography alignment, etching precision, wafer uniformity, defect density, yield optimization, and process stability across thousands of production variables. Even companies with decades of experience struggle to ramp up yields on advanced process nodes. Russia discovered the hard way that importing hardware does not automatically import the industrial ecosystem or the operational know-how needed to run it efficiently. As the technology problems mounted, the financial structure behind the project also began to collapse. The original Angstrom company had acted as guarantor for the enormous VEB loan issued to Angstrem-T in 2008. That decision would later threaten the survival of the parent company itself. By 2018, Angstrem-T had entered bankruptcy. VEB eventually took control of the company, while equipment and assets from the failed fab were transferred into another state-controlled entity known as NM-Tech. But the story did not end there. Because Angstrom had guaranteed the loan, the massive debt burden migrated back onto the original strategic enterprise. Russian reports later indicated that VEB demanded more than 245 billion rubles from Angstrom. Just like that, a historic Soviet-era chipmaker became one of Russia's most financially distressed industrial firms. And honestly, there is something deeply ironic about the fact that a project designed to strengthen Russia's semiconductor independence nearly destroyed one of the country's key defense microelectronics companies instead. Then Geopolitics made the situation even worse. Following the Crimea crisis in 2014, and especially after 2022, Russian technology firms faced increasingly severe sanctions from the United States and its allies. Semiconductor manufacturing is one of the most globally interconnected industries on Earth. Even fabs that appear fully domestic often rely on foreign suppliers for lithography systems, software updates, specialty chemicals, replacement parts, technical support, and maintenance services. Once sanctions intensified, maintaining imported Western semiconductor equipment became dramatically harder. Angstrem and Angstrem-T eventually found themselves under U.S. sanctions connected to Russia's defense and technology sectors. The timing could hardly have been worse. A fab already struggling financially and technologically was suddenly cut off from parts of the ecosystem required to keep advanced semiconductor tools operational. And yet, Moscow still cannot allow Angstrom to disappear completely. The reason is strategic. Unlike Angstrem-T, which was primarily a modernization project, the core Angstrom enterprise remains deeply connected to Russia's defense industrial ecosystem. The company manufactures microelectronics for the Russian Ministry of Defense, aerospace systems, navigation equipment, state corporations, and hundreds of industrial customers. Russian officials view the enterprise as strategically important. According to reports, forcing the company into liquidation could disrupt defense production and state military contracts. That explains the ongoing rescue effort in 2026. Under the arbitration court's external management plan, Russian authorities hope to stabilize the company through cost reductions, asset sales, shutdowns of unprofitable operations, and prioritization of the most commercially viable production lines. The objective is no longer about overtaking global semiconductor leaders. At this point, the goal is far more basic. Russia simply wants to preserve enough domestic capability to sustain military and strategic electronics production under sanctions pressure. Altitude Addicts has covered many industrial megaprojects over the years, but the story of Angstrom and Angstrem-T stands out because it illustrates just how unforgiving semiconductor manufacturing really is. Policymakers once believed that massive state financing combined with imported Western machinery could rapidly close the technological gap with global leaders. Instead, the project revealed the brutal complexity of the semiconductor industry itself. A successful chip sector requires far more than machinery and factory buildings. It depends on decades of accumulated engineering culture, supplier relationships, intellectual property, software infrastructure, materials science expertise, and relentless process improvement. Only a handful of countries today possess the complete industrial ecosystem required for advanced semiconductor production. And in the end, Russia's attempt to shortcut that process through second-hand AMD equipment produced one of the country's most significant industrial technology disasters. The collapse was so severe that it nearly destroyed the very defense chipmaker the project had originally been designed to strengthen. And that may be the most important lesson in the entire story. Sometimes, the hardest part of building a semiconductor industry is not buying the machines. It is building everything else around them. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe the channel. Please also take the channel membership to encourage us.